Hello, I'm going to do a drawing of the view that I have from my little perch here at the cabin, if I can. Last night we had a magnificent storm, and which is one of the reasons why I love coming back to Minnesota, is I hope when I'm here we have a magnificent storm, and we did. So I tried to draw that as we were trying to get away from the storm. And I don't know if I succeeded or not, but what I'm looking at here, what I'm trying to capture here, which I'm so far failing at because we're going to start over, is the view from the chair that I normally sit at in the morning. Was the chair that my father would normally sit at mealtime, and it's the chair that I think it's the sort of the preferred chair that Daddy Bear or anyone lucky enough to get up before he did could perch on, sit on, because it's a nice view of the interior and exterior of the cabin. And the cabin was built in the 70s, and though it's not architecturally magnificent, it's okay. No, it's actually quite lovely, but it's not like the house in Minneapolis, which has more integrity to it, I think, design-wise. But the cabin, as all cabins should have this characteristic, there should be a casualness to how they're set up, because you're supposed to be on vacation. You're not supposed to have to entertain guests in the style which you would in the big city place, where you'd make sure that the rooms were vacuumed every day and that kind of stuff. So right on this little this rectangle I'm drawing here is a banister overlooking sort of a sunken living room. The kitchen and dining room are up from the ground by about 4 feet, I guess. And the living room is on the ground level. And one of the things that we have is this banister to keep you from falling off. Well, what happens is that banister is also the place where everything that we use during the day, the phone chargers, the fountain, the scissors, everything that you might actually have need for is quite often found on that banister, rather than in the drawer where you'd normally find the scissors. Whatever drawer that is, let me know, because I need some. I can't find them. We don't have those drawers. Those drawers don't exist when you're at the cabin. You sometimes have a place. One of my neighbors here has a cabin, and they have their scissors on the mantelpiece of the fireplace, big stone fireplace, and there's this nail that's pounded into the big stone fireplace, and that's where the scissors is put. Another house I visited, the pencil sharpener was on the stairwell, right on one of the rungs of the stairwell. That's where the pencil sharpener was. And there's something kind of neat about that you see in cabins that you don't see in regular places, regular houses. So what you do see in this drawing, what I'm trying to show you in this drawing, is the cold, it's not all that cold, but I'm going to pretend it's cold, it looks cold, gray exterior, gray and green, very lush green. We had a storm last night, which was crazy. I wish I was more awake to stay out and watch it. I sort of got a little tired of watching it and went to bed. But so you got this cold exterior, and at the end of this drawing, if I don't run out of power, I'll show you the actual view. And as you move toward the right, you get the really rich, warm, coppery, orange interior lighting and warmth. It's sort of a cave, you know. You have the exterior of the cave at Lascaux, and then you have the interior with the sparkly fire crackling in the warmth of the interior. And yet there's all of the craziness that this house has. The rectangle that you see here, when the house was originally built, there was an exterior aquarium that was 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide, and that was located through this window. And that's why the window is sort of a weird size. And my father came back from the Chicago Science Museum or something, and having seen the aquarium at the Science Center in Chicago, and said, I want one. So he told the architect, I want a fish tank aquarium. And it lasted for a few years. Water was pumped up from the lake and dribbled in the top of the aquarium. The top was open, and the fish we'd catch in the lake would swim, and sometimes they would jump out. So we would covered it with a screen to keep that from happening. But it was very, very hot, and even with all of the cold water being pumped in, or the lake water being pumped in, by the time it wasn't pumped in fast enough. And meanwhile, my father had the outside of this tank. It was a cinder block tank, which he then covered with bits of wood, and had the water dribble over the top and then down over the side of the cinder block thing, and dribble all over the deck, the wooden deck. And guests of mine would come up and visit, and they always thought it was raining outside, because this thing kept going 24 hours a day, and they would sleep in, and I'd say, it's time to get up. Oh, it's raining. And I said, no, it's not raining, it's sunny. That's the aquarium. Well, the fish weren't happy. No one was really happy. My father wasn't very happy, so we took it down. But the damage sort of was done. There was a lot of water dripping underneath the foundation of the house, so the cabin has a permanent sort of tilt to part of it. So anyway, the part of this drawing is trying to show the two halves of this house, and I don't know if I'm succeeding or not, but that's sort of what I'm trying to do here. Now, as I told you, when you're at the cabin, you are casual. So in front of these doors, it's a corner and it has two sliding glass doors, which are now need to be replaced because of the damage of the subsidence of the side of the house and the rot that happened. There's this area here that I'm now drawing is usually a jumble of brightly colored things. Sailboat sailing bags or sails or life jackets or flotation devices. And it's, again, sort of the nicest place to stand if you wanted to stand and look outside at the view, and you have to stand on top of this gob of stuff. But that's, again, the cabin routine. That's how we work it. My parents went to Colorado and they saw on one of the cabins they stayed at Colorado a brightly colored, rainbow bottles, old bottles on a shelf. So on the shelf up here, there's this rainbow of green and then brown bottles. They're yellow and brown. Don't know if you could hear that. That was a loon. Now we've got more wind coming, so my view is being obscured by the wind. Well, I think I'm almost done with this, only because at some point I'll run out of power and then I'll be done with it and lose what I've done. So I'll try to finish what I'm doing right here. On top of the fireplace, or the what do you call it? The old aquarium location is a shelf that contains objects and sailboats, and I put them all in the wrong place. Sorry, I have to move these down. This marked my starting points. We have, as part of the decoration, at this place we have a dental cuspidor, we have a tuba, we have sailboats, we have globes. It's very much like my house in Boston, except this contains the collections of 5 people instead of just one. And we all have competition in what we want to show. Well, I'm going to stop this now and I'll show you what this looks like. So, come back to my camera. Camera, where are you? There. So the camera makes it much brighter than it actually is. So there, it looks more like this. And now we've got more wind coming. This is what I made last year. The weavings I used to do, I did in college, and then I make my little fish that I put up, and then the wall used to be just plates, blue and white plates, but we took half of them, well, 3/4 of them down and sold them, gave them to an antique dealer, and they dealt with them. Here's some more of my fish. Here's some stuff we brought from Minneapolis, the house we're selling. So it's a interesting place. Thanks for watching. Turn this off.